Ang programang ito ay hatid sa inyo ng Equilibrium Probiotics. Ito ay ang bagong food supplement na gawa sa mga piling gulay at prutas at dumaan sa isang masusing proseso para mapangalagaan ang inyong kalusugan. Ang Equilibrium Probiotics ay dinisenyo para sa kalusugan ng ating tiyan, tulungan ang pagkuha ng tamang nutrisyon at ang pagpapalabas sa ating sistema ng mga nakakasirang toxins. Ang Equilibrium Probiotics ay may iba't ibang disenyo at sangkap base sa inyong pangangailangan. Mula sa boost para sa mga bata, fortitude, gusto grain, miracle fruit, teremical, at ang pinakabago, liver pro. Ang Equilibrium Probiotics ay may pagmamalaki na produktong gawa sa China. Ito ay mabibili sa Dashen, Geta Road, San Sebastian, Phase 3, Ginugana, Tarlac City. At para sa mga malalayong lugar, mabibili din ang produkto ng Equilibrium Probiotics sa Lazada. Ito ay eksklusibong gawa ni Ginan Malu Reyes Nure. Ano pang hinihintay nyo, mga kasangga? Alam, bilihan!
Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning! Maulan na umaga po sa lahat mga kasangga. Ngayon po araw ng Lunes, September 4, 2023. Although wala pong bagyong naglandfall sa ating bansa, pero itong bagyong Sihana ay patuloy pa rin po yung paghila ng monsoon rains dito sa ating bansa. Kaya patuloy po yung pag-ulan-ulan. At mamaya po yung sa ating weather update, yung makikita po ninyo kung ano na po ang estado ng bagyong Hana. Shout out po sa mga nag-join na ngayong umaga. Si favorite baker Richelle Taya, good morning. Good morning po Kuya Doms. Maulan po na umaga. Yes, maulan nga yung ating morning ngayon, no? At wala pa naman deklarasyon kung may pasok o wala sa mga eskwela. Nawalan daw ako ng sound. Meron na ba? Palagay ko meron na. No? Para nakikita ko na sa monitor na meron na akong sound. Okay? So, samahan niyo po muna ako sa isang maikling panalangin. Sa ngalan ng Ama at ng Anak ng Espiritu Santo. Amen. Mahal naming lumikha, maraming salamat po sa bagong araw na ipinagkaloob ninyo sa amin. Sa mapayapang gabing lumipas at sa patuloy na pagbuhos ng iyong mga biyaya sa amin at sa aming bayan. Naway ipagkaloob mo po sa amin ang lakas at tibay ng loob upang mapaglabanan ng kasamaan at manatili po kami sa paggawa ng mabuti sa kapwa at sa pagsunod sa inyong itinurong tamang landas. Lahat po ng gawain namin, inaalay namin sa ngalan ng iyong anak na si Jesus, na aming Panginoon. Amen. And here is a summary of our top stories for today. Department of Finance Chief wants tuition-free college education reviewed. Pinababawi po ni Jokno ang free state colleges and universities na free education. Lift or cut rice tariff to bring down prices. File DQ versus BSKE bets violating poll rules. Comelec. Thousands evacuated as Typhoon Haikui heads for Taiwan. Three Quezon City traffic cops sued over gun toting incident. LTO, PNP work to catch online scammers. MNLF commemorates 27th year of peace deal with government. And updates on the weather. And here is our top story for today. DOF Chief wants tuition-free college education reviewed. Report by Louis Maureen Simeon to the Philippine Star. Manila, Philippines. The head of the economic team of the Marcos administration is pushing for a review of free college education in state universities and colleges, or SUCs, saying the program is inefficient and wasteful. Referring to the Universal Access to Quality Tertiary Education, or UAQTE law enacted by the Duterte administration, of which he was a part, Finance Secretary Benjamin Jokno is proposing to revisit the free college education system. Among other things, he is proposing a national examination to qualify for college subsidy. The core of my proposal is to revisit the present college education is how to optimally allocate resources funded largely by taxpayers for education, Diokno told reporters over the weekend. The present regime is unwieldy, inefficient, and wasteful. Government resources funded by taxpayers' money, by nature, are finite, he said. However, nationalist organization Alliance of Concerned Teachers, or ACT, SUCs, is opposing Diokno's proposal, saying efforts to scrimp on tertiary education subsidy appear contemptuous of our Filipino youth. In a statement, ACT SUC said Diokno's statement saying the UAQTE program strains the national budget was alarming, as the budget for the program only totals 0.83% of the 2023 national budget, which has granted free college schooling to over 2 million students or SUCs. How can that be seen as a waste of public funds? Said ACT SUC spokesman Carl Ramora. Signed during the first year of the Duterte administration in 2017, the law exempts qualified college students enrolled in a bachelor's degree, certificate degree, or any comparable undergraduate degree from the burden of tuition and other school fees. Diokno argued that an indicator of wastefulness is the rising dropout rate. Recent data from the Commission on Higher Education showed that at least 40% of pandemic-era students either paused or stopped from attending school. Secretary Diokno seems to be totally out of touch, if not simply contemptuous, of our Filipino youth. Earlier, he said that the free higher education program only serves those who can pay, while now he is saying that many are dropping out because they are not committed enough to their studies, Ramota added. Ramota, a faculty regent of the University of the Philippines system, said the finance secretary needs to look deeply into how SUCs have been able to serve students who would have been out of school had it not been for the education program. He said that the dropout rate in college is further proof that students will struggle to finance expenses related to their studies despite having free tuition and other fees. Diokno's proposal is a three-pronged approach, with the first one aimed at strengthening the K-12 basic education program. The finance chief noted that the poor have a better chance of entering college and completing the same if they have a good foundation through the K-12, which covers kindergarten and 12 years of basic education. Started by the Aquino administration in 2012, the program targets to provide sufficient time for mastery of concepts and skills, developing lifelong learners, and prepare graduates for tertiary education, middle level skills development, employment, and entrepreneurship. That's the key. Excellent basic education. That should be our focus. That's the key. Excellent basic education. The other goal of the K-12 program is to prepare the student for gainful employment or higher education. Many are not interested in going to college. They just want better jobs, he said. On the second approach, Diokno is pushing for a filter of those who should be entitled to free education through a nationwide test. Diokno said it should be based on what the national budget can afford every year. SUCs are not equal. Some are excellent, others good, some are barely adequate. Diokno said, the score of the examinee will determine which SUC and its campus he or she will be assigned. Theoretically, as a government scholar, he is entitled to an amount of education voucher. He may refuse to enroll in an SUC assigned to him. Third, Diokno said that government should allow those who pass the nationwide exam and are entitled to free education to use their entitlement of a 4-year voucher to enter or reject their assigned state university or choose a government-accredited private university. Of course, the voucher will be released on an annual basis and will be based on satisfactory performance of the government scholar, he said. Ramota said, we fully reject Secretary Diokno's proposal to subject students to a nationwide exam to qualify for higher education subsidy on top of the entrance exams of colleges and universities, as this would only limit further the youth's access to free college education. More absurd is his proposal to let private colleges and universities partake in the free higher education funding instead of supporting the public universities and colleges in improving education quality, he added. ACT SUCs, said Diokno, should instead look into the 10 billion confidential and intelligence fund in the proposed 2024 budget, which they say truly drains state coffers for nothing. What direct benefits can our poverty-ridden people get from those funds? Ramota said. The finance chief maintained that his set of proposals are not perfect, but they could immensely improve the allocation of scarce government resources. Based on the 2024 national expenditure budget, the Marcos administration plans to allocate 105.6 billion to SUCs. Specifically, some 21.7 billion peso will fund the free tertiary education of about 3.15 million students nationwide. Overall, a total of 924.7 billion peso will fund the education sector next year, equivalent to 16% of the record 5.768 trillion peso 2024 budget. With additional report from Neil Jason Cervallos. Concepcion. Update po tayo. Wala pong nag-anunsyo na po ang bayan ng Concepcion. According to their municipal mayor, wala po silang pasok ngayon. Anong level? Patingin anong level?
All levels. All levels.
All levels po, no? Si Mayor Noel Villanueva na walang pasok ngayong araw, Setyembre 4, 2023 sa lahat ng antas. All levels po, sa bayan po ito ng Concepcion. So sa mga nakikinig po ngayon o nanonood sa ating live streaming, so paki-share na lang po sa mga kasama natin na wala pong pasok sa bayan ng Concepcion. Next on our headlines, lift or cut rice tariff to bring down prices. Report by Luella Desiderio and Bella Carriazo to the Philippine Star. Manila, Philippines. Tariffs on rice imports should either be lifted or reduced instead of imposing a price ceiling as it hurts both consumers and farmers, according to the Foundation for Economic Freedom, or FEF. We call on the government to lift or reduce import tariffs for rice from 35% to 10% to arrest the surging price of rice rather than impose a price ceiling, the group said in a statement issued over the weekend. President Marcos issued Executive Order 39 on August 31, setting a price ceiling on regular milled rice at 41 peso per kilo and well-milled rice at 45 peso per kilo. The price cap will hurt low-income households and drive supply away from the market, fuel a black market for rice, cause traders to cheat consumers by mixing inferior broken rice with regular and well-milled rice, and incentivize traders to hoard as the price ceiling is below their procurement and selling prices, the group explained. Farmers will also suffer as traders could use the price caps to justify buying palay at a lower price or refuse to buy palay from farmers. The government can afford to lower rice tariffs because the mandatory 10 billion peso allocation for the Rice Competitiveness Enhancement Fund or RCEF, as stipulated by the rice tariffication law, has already been achieved, said the FEF. As of the farm gate price of palay, it could reach 15 pesos per kilo due to EO19. This was the warning aired over the weekend by the Philippine Chamber of Agriculture and Food Incorporated, or PICAFI, after EU 39 set a price ceiling on the rice amid its rising costs, which the group said could result in less income for farmers. Many farmers were hit by the typhoon, which is why their expected harvest is not big. After the calamity, they expect to at least earn, but with this, it is possible that they cannot break even. PICAFI President Danilo Fausto said, if traders will buy their produce at 15 peso per kilo, they will no longer plant in the next planting season. That is why the number one enemy of productivity is price control, he added. The price control should last for only a month to allow farmers to earn, Fausto suggested. The National Economic and Development Authority also expressed support for EO39, which it claimed will address hoarding, profiteering, smuggling, and cartelization. We are confident that the imposition of a price ceiling is only a temporary measure. We expect that the rice harvest to commence soon and anticipate that other initiatives will produce the desired result, Teda said. EO39 violators will face a penalty of 5,000 to 1 million peso, according to Trade and Industry Assistant Secretary Agaton Libero on September 2. In an email, Pantheon Macroeconomics Chief Emerging Asia Economist Miguel Chanco said that if prices are not allowed to rise to their equilibrium market rate, then the country could end up in a situation where there is excess demand and inadequate supply. The government should assist retailers in complying with EO39, according to Rice Traders Group, Philippine Rice Industry Stakeholders Movement, or PRISM. Who will be affected here are the small businesses. They will shoulder the losses, PRISM co-founder Orly Manuntag said in a radio interview. Section 3 of EO39 provides assistance to retailers. We just don't know what form of assistance. That's why we are asking the DA, the government, on how they can help us, he added. Retailers are surprised by the decision as they bought the rice earlier at 2,300 per sack, which is equivalent to 46 peso per kilo, Manuntag noted. Consumers to benefit. Consumers will immediately benefit from EO39 according to Farmers Group Samahang Industriya ng Agrikultura or SINAG. From the current retail of 60 peso per kilo, it will now become 45 peso per kilo. Definitely, the consumers will benefit here, SINAG Executive Director Jason Kainlet said yesterday. The Kilusang Magbubukid ng Pilipinas or KMP on Sunday expressed concern over the affordability of rice, claiming that the regular milled rice can still be reduced to 37 peso per kilo. It also criticized the government for not taking decisive action against traders engaged in hoarding and rice manipulation. Agriculture Undersecretaries Leocadio Sebastian and Domingo Pangaliban should be investigated by Congress, the group said. Based on the DA's monitoring, local regular milled rice is sold as high as 55 peso per kilo, local well-milled rice at 57 peso per kilo, local premium rice at 60 pesos per kilo, and local special rice at 65 pesos per kilo. Imported well-milled rice is sold as high as 52 pesos per kilo, imported premium rice at 56 pesos per kilo, and imported special rice at 65 pesos per kilo. Reps Edsel Lagman and Joey Salceda support EO39. Lagman and Salceda of Albay's 1st and 2nd districts respectively endorsed Executive Order 39. With additional report from Delon Porcalia. Additional update, walang pasok po sa bayan ng Kapas. Dulot ng patuloy ng pag-ulan, kanselado ang pasok sa bayan ng Kapas ngayong araw ng Lunes, Setyembre 4, 2023 sa lahat ng antas mula private hanggang public. So ngayon lang po ito, kapapasok lang, walang pasok po sa bayan ng Kapas. So dalawa na pong bayan ang nag-anunsyo, ang bayan ng Concepcion at ang bayan ng Kapas. So pasa lang po yung impormasyon sa ating mga kaanak. Nang sa ganun po hindi na po silang maabala pa na umalis ng bahay at delikado po sa kalsada ngayon. O, si Papsi, nanonood si Papsi. Good morning, Paps. Rolly Gonzalez is watching. Next on our headline, file DQ versus BSKE bets violating poll rules by Comelec. Report by Mayen J. Malen to the Philippine Star. Manila, Philippines. As the filing of certificates of candidacy or COCs for the October 30 Barangay and Sangguniang Kabataan elections officially ended yesterday in most parts of the country, the Commission on Elections or COMELEC urged BSKA candidates to be watchful and file charges against rivals who violate election laws. COMELEC Chairman George Garcia said they are relying on the vigilance of candidates to prevent poll offenses, including violations of laws against political dynasties among candidates in the Sangguniang Kabataan or SK or youth councils. Pinagdidiskitahan ditong barangay election, no? Samantalang, ewan. We welcome the filing of disqualification cases by their rival STK candidates or any interested parties against those who are relatives of incumbent national or local officials, Garcia said. Due to limited resources, the COMELEC chief admitted that it is difficult for local poll offices to immediately determine if the one filing the COC for the SK election has relatives who are incumbent elected national or local officials. Seryoso? Hindi nyo alam? We are left with no choice but to accept the COC as the local COMELEC officials have no information if they have elected relatives, he said. The SK Reform Act prohibits those with relatives within the second civil degree of consanguinity or affinity to any incumbent elected national official or to any incumbent elected regional, provincial, city, municipal, or barangay official in the locality from seeking SK posts. Thus, Garcia encouraged rivals of candidates who are attempting to violate the SK Reform Act to file appropriate charges against the latter. Nakakatawa kayo. Kabataan ng pinag-iinitan. Over 1.3 million COCs filed. Meanwhile, the COMELEC yesterday reported that the number of aspirants who have filed their COCs reached over 1.3 million pesos, 1.3 million individuals. Based on the partial consolidated report of COCs filed as of 11:30 a.m. of September 3, they reached 1,316,265, COMELEC spokesman John Rex Laudiango disclosed. The figure excludes those from La Union, Aurora, Bohol, Cebu, Siquijor, Zamboanga, Sibugay, Sultan Kudarat, and Lanao del Sur, which have yet to send their reports. The COC filing period for BSKE started last August 28 and was supposed to end last September 2, but the COMELEC had to extend the filing in several areas, including the National Capital Region, due to heavy flooding. On the eve of the deadline, Garcia said there are still many aspirants filing COCs in Manila and minimal numbers in Quezon City, Caloocan, and Las Piñas. Most aspirants, or 861,171, are males, while 455,994 are females. Of the total figure, 92,173 are aspiring to be barangay chairpersons, while 690,531 want to be barangay council members. There are 85,816 aspirants for SK chairperson and 447,745 aspirants for SK council members. Kontrabigay versus vote buying. In a related development, the COMELEC has formed Kontrabigay group to counter vote buying during the coming DSKE. Lawyer Jeremy Cortez, Assistant Regional Director of COMELEC Region 2, said Kontrabigay is composed of government agencies such as the Philippine National Police, Armed Forces of the Philippines, Integrated Bar of the Philippines, National Bureau of Investigation, Philippine Information Agency, Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas, Anti-Money Laundering Council, and the Philippine Association of Law Students. Cortez added that the group is a vital instrument in preventing vote buying because it gives the right to everyone in reporting election anomalies in their respective places. Whew. Vote buying involves giving money, gift, or in kind according to the COMELEC official. Barangay, pinagtitripan nila yung barangay. Para may pera yung mga, humahabol sa barangay, He warned candidates that the campaign period is still October 19 to 28, and those who will conduct premature campaigning will face legal sanctions that may result in disqualification. With additional report from June Elias. Ewan. Nakapagod. And moving on to our weather update. Hana. Ito na po yung kasalukuyang update kay Bagyong Hana. Pagka-assess Typhoon Hana behaves erratically off the coast of southwestern Taiwan and makes landfall in Kaohsiung City. It is 5 a.m. Tropical Cyclone Bulletin Hana was spotted 265 kilometers northwest of Itbayat, Batanes, packing maximum sustained winds of 120 kilometers per hour near the center and gustiness of up to 150 kilometers per hour. It was moving southwestward slowly. Only Batanes remains under signal number 1. So ito na po, no? Nasa Taiwan na po yung bagyo. No? Nasa Taiwan na po siya. Ang nararanasan na lang po natin ngayon ay yung habagat. No? Yung dala-dala pong ulan ng monsoon rains. Moving on to our global headline. Thousands evacuated as Typhoon Haikui heads for Taiwan. Report by Agence France Presse to the Philippine Star. Taitung, Taiwan. Nearly 3,000 people were evacuated from the high-risk areas in eastern Taiwan ahead of Typhoon Haikui, Philippine name Hana, as authorities prepared Sunday for the first tropical storm to directly hit the island in 4 years. Haikui, which had already brought heavy rains by Sunday morning, is packing a sustained wind speed of about 140 kilometers or 39 miles per hour and is expected to make landfall in Taiwan's eastern Taitung area by 5 p.m. Schools and offices around the southern and eastern parts of the island were closed Sunday and more than 200 domestic flights canceled. Haikui will be the first typhoon to make landfall in Taiwan in 4 years, Taiwanese President Tsai Ing-wen said Sunday. I remind the people to make preparations for the typhoon and watch out for your safety. Avoid going out or any dangerous activities. The storm was around 180 kilometers or 110 miles east of Taiwan just before 9 a.m., Taiwan Central Weather Bureau said in a press conference. It has gathered some strength since yesterday, said Deputy Director Fong Chin-Su, urging the public to be on guard. It is expected to pose a considerable threat to most areas in Taiwan with winds, rains, and waves, he said, adding that the storm would move west to the Taiwan Strait by Monday. The Interior Ministry said authorities had evacuated more than 2,800 people across 7 cities in Taiwan, the majority of them from the mountainous county of Hualien, which neighbors Taitung. The streets of Hualien were deserted Sunday morning, battered by unrelenting torrential rain under dark skies. The military has mobilized soldiers and equipment, such as amphibious vehicles and inflatable rubber boats, around the parts of Taiwan where Haikui is expected to have heaviest impact. The last major storm to hit Taiwan was Typhoon Bailu in 2019, which left 1 person dead. Haikui is expected to be less severe than Saola, which bypassed Taiwan but triggered the highest threat level in nearby Hong Kong and southern China before it weakened into a tropical storm by Saturday. Good morning po kay Alvin Santos. Thanks for joining me this morning. Moving on to our regional updates. Three Quezon City traffic cops sued over gun-toting incident. Report by John Vic Mateo and Mark Ernest Belleza to the Philippine Star. Manila, Philippines. Three Quezon City traffic policemen who initially handled the viral gun-toting incident involving a dismissed police officer and a cyclist last August 8 are facing an administrative complaint. The city government yesterday confirmed that the case was filed against Staff Sergeants Darwin Peralta and Joel Abiso and Executive Master Sergeant Armando Carr before the Quezon City People's Law Enforcement Board or PLEB. The three are all members of the Quezon City Police District Traffic Sector 4 in Camuning, which initially handled the incident. Lawyer Raymond Fortun charged the policeman with oppression, irregularities in the performance of duties, and incompetence. According to the city government, dismissed policeman Wilfredo Gonzalez and the cyclist were first brought to the QCPD Camuning Police Station as the matter was first considered a traffic incident by respondents from the QCPD Galas Police Station. Since there was no resolution in Camuning, the two were again referred to the Galas Police Station, where the alleged settlement of the case happened. Despite the clear and imbalanced status of the parties, the same police officers failed to protect the rights of the cyclist when they failed to provide a legal counsel for him so that the latter would be duly appraised of his rights, Fortun said in a statement released by the city government. Further, they failed to secure the CCTV footages in the area in order to ferret out the real facts in the conflicting statements made by the parties. Finally, and for reasons known only to them, and despite there being sufficient basis to do so, the same police officers failed to file the appropriate charges, he added. Fortun, a cyclist, was among those who pledged support to the victim of the incident. Mayor Joy Belmonte welcomed Fortun's action, saying his move to file a case with the pleb is a vote of confidence with the city government. What we need now are little acts of heroism from ordinary Filipinos to stand up for what is right, to exact accountability from those in power. The proper process is the proper forum, which is the pleb. We will now take its course, she said. This incident also highlights the need to institutionalize the presence of pleb in other cities and municipalities to hear and decide the complaints filed against erring policemen. I am confident that the case filed in the pleb will be handled without fear or favor, the mayor added. Created under Republic Act 6975 or the Philippine National Police Reform and Reorganization Act, plebs are considered as check and balance mechanisms for the police force. They handle administrative cases filed by ordinary citizens against the police. Pleb Chairman and Executive Officer Rafael Vicente Kalinisan committed to conduct a thorough investigation of the incident. He earlier invited members of the Galas Police Station to shed light on the supposed settlement between Gonzales and the cyclist. The institutions, particularly the PLIB, are in place so that the community will feel safe and secure in their homes. We commit to serve as an effective watchdog against abusive cops and at the same time serve as partners to our men in uniform toward nation building, Kalinisan said. As far as the case filed by Fortune is concerned, we promise to act on the case with absolute dispatch, he added. Moving on to our next regional update. LTO-PNP work to catch online scammers, report by Bella Carriazo to the Philippine Star. Manila, Philippines. Land Transportation Office Chief Vigor Mendoza II will meet with the Philippine National Police Anti-Cybercrime Group to strengthen the LTO's campaign against online scammers. We will enhance our partnership with the PNP ACG to catch these scammers who are proliferating online, Mendoza said yesterday. He assured the public that the LTO will not stop until online scammers are put behind bars. Mendoza's warning came after the LTO Bicol reminded the public to be vigilant against online scammers asking for large amounts of money, supposedly in exchange for their assistance in claiming vehicle license plates. In some cases, the victim will just find out that the licenses provided by these scammers were fake. It noted that most of these scammers on Facebook were offering their illicit service through buy and sell groups, the LTO Bicol said. Mendoza warned motorists who have yet to claim their license plates after we received reports that certain people are asking for a fee of 200 peso in exchange for a hassle-free claiming of license plates. He said the distribution of license plates is free, adding that the distribution process has started in some areas in the country, particularly in the Bicol region. According to Mendoza, the LTO will come up with an appointment system for a systematic and orderly distribution of unclaimed license plates, including at malls that are being eyed as distribution sites. He also urged LTO regional directors and heads of district offices to come up with best ways to distribute the unclaimed license plates after he imposed a 60-day deadline. And to top off our top stories for today, MNLF commemorates 27th year of peace deal with government. Report by John Unson to the Philippine Star. Cotabato City, Philippines. Members of the Moro National Liberation Front on Saturday commemorated the 27th anniversary of their truce with Malacanang and pledged to continue patronizing all ongoing bilateral government MNLF peace programs. Some 3,000 representatives and senior officials of various MNLF groups in central Mindanao participated in the event, held at the Municipal Gymnasium in Piquet Town in Cotabato Province. The chairman of the MNLF Central Committee, Muslimin Serna, told reporters Sunday the event was simple but memorable, being their fourth since they have fused ranks with the Moro Islamic Liberation Front in overseeing the now 4-year MNLF-led regional government of the Bangsamoro region. We are together now in addressing peace and security issues, poverty, and underdevelopment caused by armed conflicts, said Serna, who is current regional labor minister of the Bangsamoro region. With rebel negotiators and administration of President Fidel Valdez Ramos forged on September 2, 1996, the government MNLF peace agreement in Jakarta in Indonesia, brokered by the Organization of Islamic Cooperation, a bloc of more than 60 Muslim states, including petroleum exporting nations in the Middle East and North Africa. MILF has a separate compact with the government, the 2014 Comprehensive Agreement on Bangsamoro, that resulted in the setting up of the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao in 2019 that replaced the Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao established 29 years before. Malacanang's peace agreements with the MNLF and MILF enjoins both groups to help the police and military enforce law and order in predominantly Moro southern provinces and cities. Local executives from different towns and officials of non-government peace advocacy groups also participated in Saturday's symbolic gathering of MNLF officials and members in Tikit, home to mixed Muslim and Christian communities that are still struggling to bounce back from the adverse effects of secessionist conflicts in decades past. Good morning po, Manong Bert Arsiaga at si Sister Grace Bernales who is currently in Bohol, and Manong Bert who is currently in Paniki, Tarlac. And that completes our top stories for today. Again, here is a summary of our top stories. DOF chief wants tuition-free college education reviewed. Lift or cut price tariff to bring down prices. File DQ versus BSKE bets violating poll rules. COMELEC. Thousands evacuated as Typhoon Haikui heads for Taiwan. 3 Quezon City traffic cops sued over gun-toting incident. LTO, PNP work to catch online scammers. MNLF commemorates 27th year of peace deal with government. And weather updates from Hannah. So ito na po, kakapasok lang. Walang pasok sa Tarlac City. So kinansela na rin ni Tarlac City Mayor Christy Angeles ang pasok sa Tarlac sa lahat ng antas mula private hanggang public sa Tarlac City dulot ng patuloy na pag-ulan. So galing po ito sa updates from taga Tarlac Kakung. So TTKK. Maraming salamat po sa mga post ng taga Tarlac Kakung. So tatlo na pong bayan ang nagkansela ng pasok, ang bayan ng Concepcion, Capas at Tarlac City. So wala pong pasok ngayon dito sa Tarlac City. So ano po wag na po tayong lalabas. Lalo na po ngayon pa lang maaga ay malakas na po yung ulan. So yung po marami pong lugar dito na malamang lalo na po yung mga kalsada na nagkakaroon po ng pagbaha dahil po sa torrential rain. Ito po torrential rains pagka ganyan po, no? Madali po kahit cover tayong mga kanal na malalaki, alam naman po natin na marami na po malalaking kanal ang Tarlac City. Pero pagka ganyan pong volume ng tubig na bumabagsak, kaya pong i-overwhelm yung mga kanal. Kaya mag-iingat po tayo. Huwag po tayong masyadong maging kumpiyansa, lalong sa kalsada. No? Kung hindi na rin naman po mahalaga yung lakad ninyo ng mga kabataan, manatili na po tayo sa ating mga tahanan. Huwag na po tayong lalabas. No? Again, 3 bayan na po ng lalawigan ng Tarlac ang nagdeklara ng walang pasok. Nandiyan po ang bayan ng Concepcion, ang bayan ng Capas, at ang syudad ng Tarlac. So pakipasa na lang po yung impormasyon sa ating mga kaanak, sa ating mga kaibigan, nang sa ganun hindi na po sila maabala at malagay pa sa alanganin sa paglabas nila ng kanilang mga tahanan. So for those who will be sa mga ibang bayan po no dito sa lalawigan ng Tarlac na kailangan po ng mga update, pwede po kayong tumutok din sa taga-Tarlac Kakong, TTK, taga-Tarlac Kakong, dahil sila po actively nakikipag-communicate sa mga iba't ibang local government units para po makapagbigay po ng update sa atin. Maraming salamat po sa admin ng taga-Tarlac Kakong for their active involvement in ensuring na yung pong mga kababayan natin ay updated lalo na po sa ganitong mga pagkakataon na hindi po maganda yung tala ng panahon. So yan po, dito po nagtatapos yung ating live streaming para sa araw ng Lunes, September 4, 2023. Yan, maraming salamat po ulit sa inyong patuloy na pagantabay sa akin at panonood ng live streaming ng Kuya Dong at ang Magkasangga sa Buhay. Ngayon pong darating na Miyerkules, magkakaroon po tayo ng isang regular episode ng Agri-Talakayan at ngayon pong darating na Sabado, babaguhin po muna natin yung schedule dahil ang inyong Kuya Dong merong isang mahalagang lakad na hindi po natin magagawa yung regular program natin na Sabado. At i-announce po natin kung i-advance natin ng Biyernes o gagawin po natin ng Linggo yung episode po natin ngayong darating na Sabado. Okay, again, maraming salamat po and God bless everyone.